Ryan Day looked a little down in the dumps after losing to Michigan yet again. Robin Lundberg, Claudette Montana here. And Claudette, people are saying he can't beat Michigan, so he's got to go. It's a little ridiculous, in my opinion. What do you make of the talk of Ryan Day being done at Ohio State?
I mean, that argument is just so ridiculous. It almost makes my blood boil. Ryan Day is a spectacular football coach. In fact, during his time at Ohio State, he's 56-7. Not a bad record. The team's 11-1 this year, and they lost to Michigan, the number 2 team in the country, in Ann Arbor. It's a hostile environment. I mean, he's a great coach. It's just crazy.
Part of this is the structure of college football, where so much is put on one game because so much of the schedule is a formality for these teams. They're so much better than most of their opposition. They're just running roughshod over them. And then it comes down to the result of one game. And you can't put it all on Michigan or Ohio State. If that was the case, then Harbaugh wouldn't be the coach of the Wolverines right now. And he's had the chance to turn it around, maybe, with a little assistance, but nevertheless, it happened.
Look, those are both two great football programs, and I mean, that game could have gone either way as well. It was a great game. All right, let's talk about conference championship weekend. Georgia is set to take on Alabama in the SEC championship game. If Alabama wins and Georgia's favored, do they deserve a CFP spot?
Yes. If your argument is what are the best teams, the 4 best teams, Alabama will belong on that list. Given the wins that they already have this year, and given that this would be a win over Georgia. Now, the tough spot is, who do they replace? I personally don't believe Michigan belongs in the college football playoff, given the cheating. And then there's the other undefeated teams. Let's say Washington beats Oregon. It's going to be tough to keep them out. If Oregon wins that game, also going to be tough to keep them out. Do you bump an undefeated Florida State team considering schedule? Regardless, I believe that Alabama belongs in the mix with a win.
I just don't think Alabama deserves to be in the college football playoff this year. They're playing well right now, and a win over Georgia, the number 1 team in the country, would be very impressive, but I just think there's teams that deserve it more. Probably the winner of the Washington-Oregon game this upcoming weekend, or even Texas if they win this week. I don't know how you don't put Texas in over Alabama when they beat Alabama earlier this season.
You just mentioned that Washington-Oregon game. Will that game wind up deciding the Heisman Trophy with Bo Nix against Michael Penix?
You can't tell me that if Michael Penix Jr. plays in the Pac-12 championship, lights out, beats Oregon for the 2nd time this season, and secures a college football playoff spot for the Huskies, that his Heisman odds aren't going to skyrocket, and vice versa for Bo Nix. I mean, this is a big game for him as well.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the numbers, and I find it tough for Penix to win it because he's got 10 times worse odds than both Nix and Daniels. So in order for him to win, both of those guys would have to be bad and he would have to be great. So, what Daniels does is independent, obviously, of this game. Regardless, he would have a great season, especially if he picks up another W against the Ducks.
Penix for Heisman.